So when I heard that they were doing a prequel series to the two-part It remake from a few years ago, my instant reaction sounded something like this.
Not like this.
When you hear the word prequel in reference to a horror icon, 9 times out of 10, that means that they are going to over-explain that character to the point that it removes all of their mystique. Now, I'm sure that this series is going to at least reference Pennywise's origins in some way. Now, I don't think we need to go the space turtle route and all the interdimensional stuff. They can keep it vague. But based on the trailer alone, that doesn't appear to be what the entire premise of this series is based on. It looks like another group of people coming up against Pennywise after he comes out of another one of his long hiatuses. And honestly, that's probably the best route to take. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Let's go, baby! It prequel series trailer in full effect. Wait, It? Oh, hell no! I am not watching this scary clown again. I've had nightmares for years after I watched that first movie. HBO Go, Max, or HBO Max, I don't care what streaming platform it's on, we will not be seated. Now first I want to get this out of the way because I know there's going to be someone who responds to this video and says, aren't you the guy who wants everything to be an original idea? And you know what? In a perfect world, this would be a horror series based around a completely original character. But we don't live in a perfect world, do we? Plus, if we are going to revisit a classic horror franchise, I'd rather it be something like It, that's only had the original TV miniseries and the 2-part remake. It's not like we already have 738 It movies where the character has been overexposed to the point that I don't give a shit about him anymore.
I don't care!
I actually believe that they've done a decent job of protecting the character of Pennywise up until this point, and I do think that the remakes did the character justice. And it does feel like he is the type of character that warrants further exploration, but with boundaries. Now, of course, this is always a fine line to walk on. And if this series ends up inspiring 2 more series, or even another trilogy of movies, then that's going to ruin it. But doing a one-off series of another round of Pennywise killings is not the worst idea in the world.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Plus, if the trailer is any indication, Pennywise himself will hopefully appear as little as possible. We only really get one shot of him in the shadows, and I think they should leave it at that until the series is released. To me, the success of this series is going to come down to how interesting the cast of characters around Pennywise are. In my opinion, the remake movies, especially Part 1, did a great job of establishing each kid to the point that you actually had a vested interest in whether or not they survive. And I'm hoping that this prequel series is able to recreate at least a little bit of that character magic. Give us glimpses into their home life. Those moments that are very important as it pertains to establishing them. And because it's a series, you actually have even more time to establish them properly. So you have no excuses. To me, the entire focus of this series should be to build the legend of Pennywise. Make him an even bigger deal than he already was, and it looks like the series is going to tap into that just a little bit.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I also appreciated the general look of the series so far. It is consistent with the look of the films. And I think it creates a nice bit of continuity as it pertains to making this story feel like more of a continuation than just another random story. How many times have we seen horror sequels or prequels that look and feel nothing like their predecessors? And I think having the same director will help that. Andy Muschietti, please do more stuff like this and less stuff like The Flash. We all thank you. Now, does this series have the potential to feel redundant, as it is seemingly just taking the formula they used in the films and doing something similar here? Absolutely. I think there needs to be something about this series, either from a plot standpoint or when it comes to building on the lore, that makes this series stand on its own. that sets it apart from the films in some way.
Put some effort into it!
A complete rehash will not be enough. You need to do something to justify this project's existence. Because otherwise, what was the point of making it in the first place? I'm also really glad that they're bringing back Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Again, great for continuity purposes. He absolutely killed the role, and I think it would have been jarring and even off-putting to cast anyone else in the role at this point. At least they didn't go the Hulu Hellraiser route and turn him into Pennywise.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
One other cool little tidbit from the trailer is how they present certain characters as potentially being Pennywise in disguise. Like the police captain who smiles, and then you hear a Pennywise laugh in the background. And I think it would be an awesome idea to really dive deep into the concept of Pennywise manipulating the town of Derry in the background, more so than we've ever seen him do it before. I think that could be the hook that we talked about that separates this series from the movies and propels it into being something more. There is some hesitance in me in the fact that this is a prequel, because I do think it could hinder how we watch this series ultimately, because we know that Pennywise absolutely lives on beyond this story, and there's no real way for the characters in the series to truly defeat him. But that again is going to be why it's so important that the story around him is right. Because that is what we are going to need in order for this series to continue to hold our attention. So needless to say, I am cautiously optimistic about IT Welcome to Derry. In a lot of ways it feels like the perfect kind of horror story to get the series treatment. I just hope again that they don't take it too far and they start revealing things that we don't need to know. Again, it's a fine line, but that's the risk you are taking when you are playing in these established IP sandboxes. So all we can really hope for is that Andy Muschietti and company knows exactly what they are doing.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.